Okay, so I want to start off with telling you all about yesterday. It was awesome. The citizens of the Twin Falls area were holding their legislators accountable. Oh, good sound.
Thank you.
Thank you. Holding their legislators accountable yesterday, and we were at the Lincoln Day dinner, and there, the people who are involved politically were there, right? Voters, people who are following politics were at this dinner, and all the cars in the parking lot got some information. I wish I had them with me, but they're all on cars.
We gave them all away.
Gave them all away. So information about Fred Wood and how he voted, and Laura Likely and her op-ed, wasn't it an op-ed?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the paper.
Yeah. Which was a direct response to our testimony.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm. From the rules hearing.
Yes, it
earlier
was.
This session. Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't seen that, you need to see it. Maybe we can find it and link it below, because it was really embarrassing. I think it would be embarrassing for her.
Yeah, you would think so. Running as a Republican and then saying what she said in the committee hearing, writing what she wrote to the paper, and taking the stance that she's taking, a very anti-Constitution stance.
Mm-hmm. Just a lack of understanding the Constitution.
Yeah.
It was really... Anyway, and I guess when she ran, the people in her district were saying that she was really running as a conservative Republican Party following running person, and she is completely not that now that she's in office. What a surprise.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's the importance of monitoring these individuals too, is because what they start off saying is often just to get votes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's where we have to hold them accountable.
And the people think that whatever they say during the campaign is what they're going into the Capitol and doing, and oftentimes that's completely not what's happening.
No, power of the people showed up real well yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And those districts are waking up. They want new representation, because these two folks in particular have an F rating on the Freedom Score on Idaho Freedom Foundation. So I think that kind of shows that they're not following the Republican Party, and the people of their district are waking up.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, that was yesterday, and I would really encourage you, if there is a legislator that you're wanting to hold accountable that is an F as far as freedom goes, and you want to get somebody else in that seat, do it. Mm-hmm. Do it. Take action.
Yep.
Okay, so let's update on the bills. This legislative session, it started off pretty slow because of the whole rule thing.
Right. We were really focused on the rules being reauthorized.
Which was great. We kind of wanted to keep them busy all during session on the rules. That's
nice.
Makes it easier.
Which if they had listened to us and actually opened up some of those rules and had been working on them, we could have kept them busy all session.
Right. Maybe removing some unconstitutional rules.
Right, which was a big part of why that lit drop had to happen last night with Lori Likely.
Because they voted to pass these unconstitutional rules that are violating families and harming children.
Mm-hmm. And then saying things like, we shouldn't even discuss this.
Shouldn't even. Where have you heard this before? It's settled.
Everything's settled. We don't even need to have the discussion.
Yeah, the debate shouldn't even be happening. It's settled. That's what she said in her op-ed. I'll find it. I'll put it below.
Unbelievable violation of free speech.
Oh, it was gross. So... I think we're tired today, guys. So.
I'm really tired. I'm sorry. I'm wearing no makeup.
Oh, okay. We're drinking coffee.
Yes, this helps today.
Okay.
A little venting here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's mid-session, so.
Right. We're exhausted. Yeah. Done.
Yes.
Had enough.
Hasn't been as grueling, which I appreciate.
That's true.
We're getting close to being done.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Then we can go about planning our natural health symposium.
That'll be so nice.
I'm already. I just confirmed another speaker. Should I say who?
Oh, sorry, that's the microphone.
No, I don't think I'm going to say who.
You don't think you're okay?
Let's hold on to that one.
I'm going to hold on to that one.
Exciting.
Let's just say this is a very prominent figure.
Locally.
Local.
Yes.
A local person.
Lots of families see this individual.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, good teaser.
I know, right?
Okay, bills. Down to business.
All right, back to bills.
Bills. Okay, you want to update us?
We're going to talk about the hemp bills.
Yes.
Do you want me to start that?
Yeah.
So now there are 3. Originally there were 2. We are hearing that the first 2, the good ones that would have just brought us in line with the 2018 Farm Bill, and then the one that would have removed hemp from the Controlled Substance Act, those are both going to die. And the reason is the police don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
They are totally opposed to the will of the people. They want complete control over this entire hemp situation, which is outrageous because it is only Idaho and one other state right now that have not completely decriminalized hemp. And this is just ridiculous. So here we are. Those two good bills, from what we're hearing, are going to die in the Senate. This new third one is, from what I'm hearing, basically a complete redo of last year's police bill.
Sucks.
Where the FOP and the Idaho State Police are trying to completely control this whole thing and turn it into a police state hemp situation.
Sucks.
Yeah. So
Idahoans deserve better than that nonsense.
they really do. This is outrageous.
So the rest of the U.S. can have access to hemp except for Idaho.
Yeah, and our Idaho farmers can't grow it. It's outrageous. This is insane.
I was talking to a friend, the guy that runs our partner group, Hemp Freedom Idaho, and I'll get into that, but he was like, it's almost like saying that, well, he said it is like saying that Idaho farmers are not smart enough or able enough to grow hemp.
How insulting is that?
Right.
And the police are just doing this to us, using our legislature against us. They are supposed to be our voice.
That's right.
Our senators
The
and
citizens want
representatives
it.
are supposed to be our voice, and our voice is being squashed by Idaho State Police. And it's
Again.
outrageous. Again.
This
for
already
the
happened
second
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they want to police it so hard.
Yeah.
So Sarah, Misty, why would they want to do that? What is in it for them?
I've wondered the same thing because they vote, or they donate the largest amount that they can to the senators. So that's where they can stop or pass bills, right? Because they give the largest possible donation that they can to the senators. And where do all good bills go to die?
The Senate.
The Senate.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I don't know why they want to control it so hard. I know that in last year's bill, they were charging a fee. They had to stop and be weighed, and they were charging a big fee or fine or something. Maybe it's because they want to fee the drivers to death. I don't.
Which is stupid.
Or the trucking companies. It wouldn't be the drivers specifically, but people who are trying to pass it through our state. That's what it seemed to me.
Yeah, but it's really just, it's ridiculous, and it's not fair to our farmers. Our Idaho ag needs to be able to grow hemp.
We have
and
the
keep
best
up.
farmers in the world.
Yes, and we have this amazing farmland to grow hemp, and the state and the police are standing in our way, and it's outrageous.
Well, and another thing, at the dinner last night, I was talking to a lady who is adamantly against hemp. So I was listening to her explanations because I can't fathom being against it, right?
She was adamant too.
Oof.
She was
She was fiery. Oof. And some of the things she was saying is just not true. So she said that every state that has access to hemp also now has medical marijuana. That just is not true.
No.
That just isn't true.
Right.
And I tried to lightly point that out.
And she was like, not
Nope.
doing it. Nope. Nope, you're wrong.
You're wrong. Okay, because
all
it's
right.
just us and one other state that doesn't have
And only a handful
hemp
that
and
is legalized.
yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
anyway, she said, some things that just were not true. So that tells us that our job is to keep educating because clearly people don't still, it seems, we've been doing this for so long, they still don't understand hemp.
So just please be knowledgeable on the fact that there's 3 bills. So
Yeah.
SB 1241 and 1253 are the 2 good ones that are, it sounds like, going to die. The bad one is Senate Bill 1345. So if if you hear us coming out against that one, it's because it's a police state bill. It's not a good bill. It's not what the people want for access to hemp.
Are
Yeah.
we going to be posting a follow-up on those bills or just something that lists those in detail? For people to
yeah.
go back
Yeah,
and
we can.
reference?
Probably. I'm sure there'll be something put together and sent out in our email list, which you can sign up for at healthfreedomidaho.org. And I need to talk to Dennis Hansen, who runs the Hemp Freedom Idaho partner group, and see if he'll come out with a statement too, and then we can publish that. I do want to answer Gwen. I know the CPS stuff, which is, as you know, my passion. They did not pass the most important bill out of the House, Jude and Rules Committee. I mean, they're all important. Let's be real. Anything that expands freedom is important. But HB 454 was the one that we desperately needed. The whole reason we did the protest at Kootenai Health was to raise awareness about this particular statute that talks about neglect. And we need to point to more of a what's the word I'm thinking of? Danger. Imminent danger.
Yeah.
Thank you. Imminent danger as being the issue on why to get involved, not neglect. So I have testimony here where I talk about times that people have called on neglect, like children playing outside for too long. The neighbor says that's neglect. She feels like she should call it in because it's statute, after all, and it's a misdemeanor if she doesn't. So she wears it like a badge and says, I need to call CPS because I think it's neglectful that the children are outside too long. Or I think it's neglectful that the child is throwing a fit at a grocery cart at Costco. And this one lady, I'm not making it up, got involved because she said that her niece or her niece's daughter or somebody had an ear infection and was throwing fits like that. So your child must have an ear infection, and that's why your child's throwing a fit. So now I have to call CPS because it's neglectful that you're not taking care of an ear infection.
That is a massive leap.
Oh,
Well, and this whole
exhausting.
The universal mandatory reporting, first of all, in my opinion, which is just my opinion, I don't have a law degree, but it seems to me like compelled speech, a violation of the First Amendment.
Yeah.
If you're forcing people
That's
to
true.
tattle on each other because you have a hunch or whatever, and like you've now criminalized not saying something, that's compelled speech. And we're also pitting citizens against each other.
Yeah.
Like you see somebody's kid playing outside. I mean, it seems to me like the normal course of action for like a considerate human would be to go to the parents and say, hey, I noticed this.
Right.
You don't call CPS. You don't call the state and say the kid's in the dirt. Like that's just it's so upsetting because it's like setting up this situation
It
of
is.
like pitting people against each other and getting the state involved, and also it's a humongous waste of our state resources.
It is, and that was talked about a lot. How much money, and let's be real, 72% of CPS cases are cases of neglect, 72%, and of those 72%, 83% are unsubstantiated.
So they're found to be completely not with no grounds.
Think about all the resources and the tax money that's going to destroying these families based on an accusation of neglect that's unfounded.
Right, and that's always the argument is, well, no matter how much money or how much percentage of cases are unsubstantiated, we should always err on the side of caution and take care of kids. Of course, we all want all the kids to be safe and healthy and happy, but we are completely ignoring the fact that this intervention by the state is causing this massive trauma to these kids. And we talked about this before. Even in cases where the kids are not removed from their home, they're still so traumatized. Excuse me.
Right. I did a interview of a mom who CPS didn't even take her child, right? But just the intervention alone has caused the child to start wetting the bed again for months because it's a trauma.
Yeah.
So I am very concerned about abused and traumatized children. It's just that I'm confused. I'm concerned about all of them, not just one specific area. I'm concerned that the state, with my tax money, is causing trauma and harm to children and families.
Right. We have kids that are actually experiencing trauma in their life, and then we have kids that are being traumatized by Idaho. And
Exactly.
that is not okay, and we need to have a discussion about it. It needs to be an ongoing discussion with our legislators, and they need to keep hearing it.
So we'll bring this back, okay? Some version of this. Our other partner group, CPS Idaho, is working on this, and we're supporting it. And I tagged Representative Cheney because he is the chairman of the Jude and Rules Committee, and I think we all should start educating him on what's happening as far as neglect accusations in Idaho. So that leads us to 402, HB 402, also CPS. This is a training education to CPS caseworkers about the parents' rights.
Which should already be happening.
Why do we have to make a statute for
Why
that?
does there need to be a bill? But here we are. I mean, at least the good thing is it starts the conversation. The fact that we have a bill. I mean, it's just mind blowing that this is not already part of the training
process.
It's so silly.
It really is.
They work for a government agency.
And they're coming to people's doors in regard to their children. Of course, they should know your constitutional rights.
Of course. So thank goodness that did pass committee and is headed to the House floor. So if you all want to email your representatives and let them know that you want HB 402 to pass,
Yes.
I would highly recommend it. Okay, the last one is, and then there's HB 403, but that is easy. It's just easy stuff. It's actually just pointing to another statute, and it should also be supported. It's just adding another statute, kind of pointing to it within the statute. It wasn't even something I testified on because it's just kind of a no-brainer. It should be happening. So while you're emailing about HB 402, say yes to HB 403. And also say yes to HB 455. Okay, this will help. And I don't mean to harp on the other one, the one that didn't pass. This one will be helpful because it changes mandatory reporters to not everybody in the state, and having it be a misdemeanor if you don't report. And some of the arguments in committee were that, well, how many people are actually, know about this statute and are acting on this statute? Well, I can tell you the people who are acting on this statute know about the statute and they wear it like a badge.
Yeah.
It is my duty to spy on my neighbors and call CPS if I see neglect.
Right.
So while it may not be everybody, the people who are doing it are causing harm.
Right.
And then also we know that ex-husbands, ex-wives, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends are using this statute to hurt each other.
Right.
And that's not okay. That's called retaliation, and there is a statute that covers that. But they're going to hide under this neglect statute and say, well, I needed to err on the side of neglect.
Right.
So.
Also, I think it's a ridiculous argument to say, well, not a lot of people know about it. We send you to the Capitol to do this important work and clean up our statutes.
Yep.
So I don't care how many people do or don't know. If it's wrong and we know it's wrong, it needs to be removed.
Yeah. Yes. And everybody knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, except for what's her name that's in the pocket of health and welfare.
Oh, Wintro.
Oh, Wintro. Last year, I'm sure we could make a clip of it, but last year she literally said that she was in the pocket of health and welfare.
Oh my goodness, I missed that
doesn't
one.
hide it. Yeah.
Oh.
And she definitely does their bidding, like in committee.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the pocket of health and welfare. She just said it. And I was like...
And she's one of those ones, too, that during committee hearings, even when all the parents and the people are there to testify, she says, I think we should hear from the department.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up.
As if the executive branch
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. As if our legislators should be listening to the executive branch instead of the people they represent. Sorry.
It's maddening.
Yeah, it is so maddening.
When we're sitting there in the committee and there's parents and citizens who want to testify, and one of the legislators, and oftentimes it's Wintro, says, we need to hear from the department. Because the department because it's a government agency. The
Right.
department knows so much more than the citizens and the parents.
Her and Representative Sue Chu. They are both, I'm just going to call it out. Like, it's terrible. Like,
Yeah.
they have completely forgotten who they represent. They really think they represent the executive branch.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
This is not a republic notion to think that we should all be calling on each other, watching each other, and that our government should only be hearing from the agency. Just no, these are not republic notions.
Right. That is not the form of government we should be practicing.
Come on. All right. Let's see.
Did we want to talk about the newborn testing bill?
Oh, okay. Yeah. One more thing. One more bill.
And just one more. I can't remember the bill number.
Oh, coffee.
I know. Coffee. It's Sunday morning. So this is House Bill 438. This is the one, we have mandatory testing in Idaho on newborns. And up to this point, it's been in statute that it is reportable to the prosecutor and prosecutable as a misdemeanor if you try to refuse these tests on your newborn. So this bill just strikes through the language that it is a misdemeanor. And this passed the House unanimously, which blew my mind. Because when we talked about this bill or when we talked about the rule that pertains to this statute in House Health and Welfare, they were kind of like, whatever, like not interested. And then luckily, Representative Giddings brought a bill to fix that in the statute, and the House passed it 100% unanimously. The whole board was green. It blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Shocked.
So it's
No
now
rhyme or
been
reason to what they do.
it makes no
Cannot
sense.
count on them.
It's crazy.
Consistency.
It's shocking.
Yeah, so that one's now headed to Senate Health and Welfare, and I would really like to see it get a hearing in Senate Health and Welfare.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if
We
you
need to
feel
do a call to
compelled,
action on that one.
We need
Yeah,
to be
Senate Health and
emailing.
Welfare is scary.
Oh, yeah.
That's where a lot of good bills go to die.
Senator
So
Fred Martin. He likes to put good bills in the drawer.
even like this will blow my mind. If he does not hear a bill that passed the House unanimously, I mean, Speaker Bedke voted for it, Chairman Wood voted for it, like the entire House voted for it.
You know he's going to do the bidding of Bedke and Wood.
So then it maybe will get a hearing. That'll be surprising.
I did say that out
I'll be
loud.
surprised
I
either
know.
way, I think.
Let's see if he does or doesn't. Okay.
Last, are we on?
We're done with bills.
Done with bills and we're
now.
moving on?
Yes.
All right. So just as a reminder, we've had a lot of calls and emails coming in. It's that time, kindergarten registration. So just as a reminder that we do have exemptions in the state of Idaho. So what you're going to be seeing is typically you have to have these shots. There's no word in there that there are exemptions. So make sure that we are getting this out there that, and again, these exemptions could literally be just a signed statement from you. They do not have to be on the health and welfare form that the school is going to want to provide you with.
Right.
That's assuming that if they even tell you that there's exemptions.
That's true.
So, so just be aware, spread that news far and wide so that we can help our neighbors, help our friends that are struggling with this. There's no need to have the panic, which is usually what happens, right? Like, oh my gosh, I got this. My school says I have to have this to enroll, and you do not.
Well, and especially right now, because right now is when kindergarten registration is happening.
Yep.
So for parents that this is their first kid and their first experience with this exemption situation, they have no idea. And most people don't know what's in statute. So you do have a right to a religious, philosophical, or medical exemption, and we have sample statements that you can use. I'm happy to email them. We can post them wherever.
Yeah, we do have them on healthfreedomidaho.org too. You can actually just search exemption and all the articles about it will pop up.
I mean, you'll see this too for 6th grade too, because 7th grade is that other benchmark for the vaccine schedule. So you'll see the same type of paperwork coming home, typically with your kids' registration packets as well.
And you're right, it won't say anything about exemptions. In fact, all the paperwork I've gotten for my kids right now is saying a birth certificate and your full immunization record. And that's all it says, as if there's no other option. So just know that there are other options and you have a right to be exempt. And so we can, of course, if you want to message the page or find it on our website, I'm happy to email. My newest statement samples that you can use to start your own have the newest updated rules from the 2019 session.
Oh, good.
Yeah, for both daycares and schools. So if you're enrolling your kids in either daycares or schools in Idaho, we can provide you an exemption statement to go ahead and use.
Awesome.
And they have to accept them. It's
Yeah.
the law.
It is
It's
the
the
law.
law.
And we have the law right on there for them to read.
Yes, and we worked really hard to get them to even change the rule. So now the rule is more in line with statute.
Yes.
So you should have a much easier time now.
Yes, for sure.
And if they don't give you an easier time, reach out to us. We'll help you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to let you know also about our groups where you have to be a member. So you can level up and become a Freedom Insider if you go to healthfreedomidaho.org and join for just $10 a year. And you'll have to go through an approval process. But once you're approved, you'll be in the Freedom Insider group, and it goes by region. So you can connect with your region, your people, plan events, get together. And as we know, iron sharpens iron, and it's good for us to be in the community with each other in real life.
For sure. And it's going to be so great getting together. We're going to do gatherings with our regional people so that we can all get to know each other in real life. Which is so important.
And I also want to point you to our partner groups, Idahoans for Safe Technology, Hemp Freedom Idaho, CPS Idaho, Idahoans for Informed Consent, Idahoans for Informed Consent. Yeah. So these are our partner groups, and they're also doing really great things, and we're all working together to further health freedom in Idaho. Is that it?
We're a good team.
I think that's
Yeah, we are a good team.
We're making waves in
Whew.
Idaho.
Okay. Well, sorry that was a little bit long, but there were a lot of bills to get through. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
See you next Sunday.
Bye.
I can